Okay. I'm going to try to get CJ to jump in with us and see if we can get his thoughts as I kind of work on some of the background stuff.
How's it going, mate?
Hey, man, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Can everyone hear CJ? That'd be the next thing.
Yeah, how's it sounding for everyone out there?
So I can definitely hear you loud and clear through my headphones. It's just a matter of can we hear on the actual stream? It does sound like it's coming through. Yes, there we go. Who would have thought I'd get this figured out?
Excellent, got it up and running.
Yes. CJ's going to stay up all night in Australia so that we can get his expertise in all this. I just last minute too put this Planetary Qualifier badge in there. I was like, I got to find that now that I've seen it on someone else's stream. But yeah, we're pretty pumped to have this all together and running. We thought we had 27, but we actually have 26 players today. So it's not a crazy big PQ, but compared to our last one at 20 players, we're pretty pumped for that. Just trying to grow, right? Just grow the scene around here, and really, really good turnout.
We've got our first trench deploy.
He's out all man. See, I'm falling behind. If you can just commentate a little bit, I'm just going to jump in and do some of the stuff in the background, and then
Yeah, no worries.
I'll jump in with you.
Well, we've seen trench just coming through with a fair bit of removal so far, but we've got our first unit to stick here with the Obi-Wan Sentinel, and now a force throw from Alex onto trench. Discarding no glory, doing 5 damage to the trench to knock him back off the board. What are everyone's thoughts for the PQ? Or what are the leaders people are looking forward to seeing?
I'd say we're going to see some Yoda today. I know I saw at least 2 out there. I haven't had a chance to look at any of the deck lists though myself. All right.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see how Yoda performs. We had a PQ over here earlier yesterday that was won by Han2 Blue Force.
Okay.
Defeating a Piet Red in the finals, which had a run of the tournament, going through a few Bobas and some other space decks, which it had a very good matchup into.
Yes.
It seemed. We're up to 7 resources so far. We've seen Alex start to be able to build a board.
We've seen that Admiral Trench did well in, I think it was day 1 of the Galactics. So it's cool to see someone actually had the vision to bring him here and see how well. This is Brent too. He's a local and he's a really good player. So if anyone can pull him off, it'd be him.
I don't think we've seen a trench in the PQ winners yet, but there might have been one in the tops.
Okay.
Let me double check.
I know we have at least one
Yeah.
Sabine in the mix as well.
We did have a trench top, and it was a trench Colossus. One trench Colossus has made top 8 so far this season.
Okay.
And
all right.
got another trench deploy here, but we've also, that means Jedi Consular's live. And we've had Brent take the restock to hand. So I think the advantage of trench is it just lets you see a lot of those answers that you're looking for early on. But we've seen a 7 resource crate deploy with the Jedi Consular now.
There we go. I finally got the leaders up there. Now I can sit back, relax, and watch this game with you.
Excellent.
I got my own little room here. It's another D&D room. They've got like specific rooms set up for people that they can book out. So I ended up booking both of them for the whole day. Thank God I booked this one as well so that we could move into it. We're about 35 feet away from the table, so we've got enough distance that they can't hear anything at this point.
I think that's always the beginning of it, though. You got to find that nice location where you can set up that's still within reach of being able to actually have your camera.
Yes, absolutely. And see, I'm running this all off of a webcam. So this camera is like 150 bucks Canadian on sale. So this isn't some big fancy production. It's just basic, but it all came down. I actually talked to Sea Raptor and he helped me get this all figured out. And super laser blast, getting rid of the crate dragon. That's, I guess, one way to do it when you don't have much damage on your base.
It is 8 on base. However, if Alex can find any way to trigger the force, to use the force here, he'll be on his Ava deploy.
Yes, and she hits hard.
And here it is.
Yep. That's infused brawler.
Getting the +2, so he'll still have 6 resources up. Plus, he'll have Ava to turn the force back on and be able to put her out there to hit for another 8.
Jeepers. Yeah. I wasn't big on the force because of I've played a number of decks where I got shut down and I couldn't create the force and it was just like debilitating. But having a leader that can actually just make it on command, that kind of changes things a bit.
Yeah, Ava's ability really helps to play around with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Brent with 19 damage on base now after that single turn.
Yeah, I don't know what he can do. I guess get another super laser blast out, clean up the board
Well, we
again.
did see one started off Trench earlier, which means that he'll only have one left in deck to try and find.
Oof. The odds would not be amazing at seeing that.
No.
But I've seen him come out of worse holes. He's figured things out. Mainly against me. Him and I, we've been arch enemies since set 1.
We've got the outmaneuver.
Okay, slows things down.
Allows him another trench deploy to try and dig for that super laser blast.
Yes. How does trench work? You draw 3 cards, and then you get to.
So you reveal the top 4. Your opponent chooses 2 to be discarded, and then and then the trench player will select 1 more to be discarded and 1 to be added to their hand.
So they would have the opportunity to get rid of the super laser blast.
Yep. So trench's leader side, though, you discard a card that costs 3 or more, and if you do, you draw a card.
Okay.
So he's able to try to use that to dig for the super laser blast if he'd like.
In the world
Just
of.
send a vigilance to heal 5 and put him back to 14, which will extend the game again.
Yes. And I guess that's the name of the game sometimes when you're looking for those bigger units. He could have Avengers in his deck to start eliminating. And Avar on Red Green Hero, they don't have a lot of great removal options.
No, and also we've seen the restock be added to the hand, so we know that the deck out in the mill is not something that's going to affect the trench player from multiple deploys.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost a must in a deck where you're trying to do some control stuff and you're always discarding cards. Man, her hitting for 8 though is
Yep, up to 22 again. So even with that vigilance.
Yeah, sometimes people find it hard. The 1s and 3s and the 5s and 10s, they'll go back and forth, back and forth. So we had a super laser blast.
Oh, yep, there we go.
That slows things down. Problem is, if he has another crate dragon, that will.
So the choice now will be whether he wants to ramp with the ETH Koth or discard a card with the Jedi in hiding.
Yes. Because both of those cost the force, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think on 10 resources, yeah, you'd be asking for the discard, discarding a restock.
Hmm.
You see Kelleran Beck.
Yeah, Kelleran Beck seems like a great card. I need to build a deck where I can actually use him. I've been trying to get all the prestige versions of play sets of the more usable cards. So I've got 2 of him so far. Kelleran Beck into the Daughter.
We know that there's no more Super Laser Blast though, so it'll start to come down to solo removal from here.
Yes, unless he has a Bounty Hunter screw, he can go and fetch it back. Normally people are fetching back the restocks or the vigilance, but I guess depending on how out of control the board gets.
Very true. I'm wondering if Alex has a resource count in mind where he's going to stop, or if he's just going to keep matching to try and play as much as possible to pressure.
Yeah, I've always had trouble with trying to figure out where that happy medium is for the decks that I play. You see some people going up to 15, 16 resources, and I'm sitting back there at 7 or 8, and it's like they can do so much more each turn, and it's almost impossible to do much yourself if you're only playing one big card per turn. Power of the Dark Side gets rid of the Daughter. Kelleran Beck goes into the base for 7, creating the Force.
So we're up to 29 damage now.
Might be just a little bit too far gone. Paying 6 for the Vigilance, healing 5, milling 6. Get anything good? Force throw, Poe, Eathcoth. I didn't see anything else there.
Kit's Aether Sprite and a Jedi Consular as well.
Okay.
Though with only 2 resources up. Now this would be if there's Timelies or if, well not Timely, sorry, there's nothing on the board, but if there's Cassians or...
I wonder if he
Alex
plays
has any...
Cassian. Would that be a normal card to play in there? Great Dragon comes down. That could be the answer. That is. Looks like Brent is going to scoop up on this one, and we're going to head to game 2 after some sideboarding. This might be the surprise deck, the Avar Chris coming in here. I don't think anyone was predicting to see that today.
Well, I think one of the things I like about the PQs at the moment is that because they're more localized, we get to see a a nice layout of what the meta looks like in different areas and the skill level of certain players to pilot decks that you might not see on those larger stages.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know for us, like we have, like our competitive group here is probably 10 to 12 people, and then kind of the same for New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, which are our neighboring provinces. So we've got kind of a pretty even mix between the three provinces here. And we're always competing against each other in everything, sports and whatnot. So it's a good competitive environment. Oh yeah, it is Colossus. You're right. I
Oh
didn't
yeah, you
actually.
still got Strangle Cliffs up there.
It's my first day, people. You're right though. We'll see if I can switch that. And bam, there we go. All right, we're locked in. We've got this figured out.
If you
We'll
just
just
want to
pretend
check.
that this first round didn't happen. I appreciate when the chat jumps in and helps out because there's so much going on, and to keep track of it all is it's a bit overwhelming.
You'll have to ask Alex afterwards who's signed the Avar Chris for him.
I definitely will. He must have went to the GC.
Yeah, just noticed that signature up in the top left.
Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of people from the Maritimes that went down. More people from Quebec. They have the Team Mythic. They've been actually rolling down to the States this PQ season. They have 2 wins down there. So the Canadians are taking
Excellent.
the PQ wins off the Americans. And it just happens that like Canada is a huge country and we only get 6 PQs. So we get basically nothing. So a lot of the PQs that are in the States, because a lot of our population is kind of along the border, it's just closer for them to take day trips down there. I think a few of them actually made a weekend trip where they hit up 2 different PQs in the same weekend.
Which surprises me as well because I think we have 8 here in Australia and then 2 over in New Zealand.
Okay.
And I think it's roughly the same sort of deal for us as it is with you, a very large country with the population very spread out in terms of how far it is to travel to different areas.
Yes.
Our PQ that'll be on the west coast over in Perth. So I live in the ACT over on the east side of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
To get to the west side, it's about a 5.5 hour plane
Oh
ride
wow.
over there.
Yeah.
We've just had Trench discard a Merciless contest for their draw into another Merciless contest, so I'm sure that Jedi is more than happy to knock another card out of hand here. I've just shot you a message on Discord if you're able to check that.
Yep. Eathcoth down. Using the force. With the power of the dark side, taking him out.
Great opportunity to ramp when you know that they're going to be trying to remove those units.
Absolutely. ramping can be pretty incredible.
Well, I think the edge that red heroisms had, like the force bases in particular, I think is the hand advantage that Kiadi Mundi generates in order to help keep them help them to keep up and to get ahead of the control decks.
Yep. The Avar has been, seems it's been pretty easy for Alex to go wide, where Brent's been needing those super laser blasts.
And speak his name, he shall appear.
Zine pulling home one out of the hand.
That's a big hit because that creates a need for super laser blast.
Yep. Yep. Definitely a go wide card. People usually deal with the home ones pretty quick, but then there's always that extra unit on the board that they got to deal with. Discarding outmaneuver. They're just taking their time with doing damage to base on this one. Up to 6 resources for Brent, 7 for Alex. Perilous position on the Kiadi Mundi. Just slowing things down. Uh-oh. That's rough. 2 super laser blasts being discarded. Restock going into hand. Top target also being discarded. That's a rough trench deploy.
Yeah, definitely not what he was wanting to see there. Losing 2 of those. He's still 2 resources off using them, but that will be something he'll have to fish out as he travels along.
Yeah.
Defeating the Kiadi Mundi there. But I think we'll see Alex put his first damage onto the base here.
Absolutely. Yep.
He goes to 8 resources, meaning 1 use of the force will bring Ava onto the field as well.
Just having a peek at Brent's discard pile.
And I think this is something that a lot of people overlook is when you're versing a control deck, you do need to be checking the discard quite a bit
Absolutely.
because you need to be weighing up what options they'll have to answer the plays you're going to try and make, especially as you start getting later in the resource count.
Yoda coming down, using the force. Defeating Trench. This is a big turn for Alex. I find a lot of people too, like when the game first came out, everyone talked about trying to, use up all your actions going to base right away so that your units you're getting some value out of them. And I see more and more now where people are actually taking actions and playing cards before taking that action.
Yeah, I think as the game becomes more complex, as each set gets released and we have more options to play and a lot more lines open to us now, the immediate damage on base isn't so much a positive to try and get off.
Yeah.
When we knew what control had available to them, we see rivals fall to take out the blue leader. Yeah, as more options become available, players are going to take those opportunities to sink in more lines. Especially when control now can do so many more things than it used to be able to do.
But do you think like taking that X-wing into base there for 5 damage and then deploying the Yoda? Because Trench couldn't
I,
defeat that unit.
and I think that's the big thing. But I think because Trench couldn't defeat it, I think he was prioritizing saving the damage on his base more than um, dealing the damage to Brent there.
I gotcha. Yeah, absolutely.
Knowing that he's already 7 health down on Brent, he's now hit with Avar for 8, and that's only actually given him one health advantage in this game 2. So I think it's definitely a I think it's a mentality on how you approach control.
Yeah. I play too many decks to have any sort of real concrete game plans against any deck. You see, Crate Dragon. Crate Dragon is always an issue. Unless you have a Feld the Dragon. We had someone in chat saying they love seeing the off meta leaders in a PQ. It's definitely why I grabbed this one. I know Brent, so him playing Trench, I was like, we got to get that on stream. That is an answer. Avenger coming down, defeating the Great Dragon. Now,
Taking the 9 to base.
if he can get this Avenger to stick, that will be issues for Alex.
Definitely, it creates a very difficult situation because he can't, for example, just play a second Crate Dragon down now.
Yep.
But it also gives him a huge advantage into the race here.
Yep. Yep. Now being able to claim and then
Just
hit base and get rid of that Yoda is absolutely huge.
yeah, Yoda just putting 2 damage on it. I'd imagine he'd have a 2 cost here. He might be tapping Ava to play like an infused brawler to try and trigger Yoda for a second time.
There you go. You can
It's
tell when
almost like a
players know
rope
their
flip.
deck. You predicted that. You can see the future.
So it's let him an answer now, so he'll be able to sneak in 5 more damage with the Yoda. Unless we'll see a removal of the Yoda straight away to try and take that threat away.
Yeah, going to base with the Avenger, getting rid of the infused brawler. Yoda sitting pretty. Yoda hitting
So
base
this
for
is an
5.
instance where I do think that you swing before taking other actions, because otherwise you run the risk of not being able to get the damage on.
Yes.
And you might lose the Yoda, which will make it harder to remove the Avenger. You do need to take that risk because you do need to be putting the pressure on.
Yeah, especially now because this is going to allow Alex to go much wider.
See a Mace, an Obi, a Kelran, Jedi in hiding. There was an Obi-Wan in there
Home one.
and a home one. That is a pretty good mill. So unless we see restocks or bounty hunter crew come down, we know that the super laser blasts have already been spent or discarded.
Yep.
So we're seeing 4 for Kiati. No, for an ETH.
He's going to deploy trench. Interesting, we see an evacuate in his deck.
I think it's just any number of cards to try and balance the board as you go.
Yep, another infused brawler coming out.
Removing the trench.
This is where like being able to get the force whenever is awesome. Force throw.
Yeah.
Alex force throwing Brent. Should we?
Anything 2 or higher will defeat the Avenger, so if he
Oh,
doesn't have a restock.
he had a restock.
Another force throw.
Sorcerer's Blast.
Sorcerer's Blast.
Yep. Greetings from Portugal. Thanks for joining the stream.
Have the PQs been going in Portugal?
You plan on heading to any of the sector or regionals?
Me?
Yeah.
Unless they announce it as one in the Oceania region, probably not, because the amount I'd spend to fly to North America or over to Europe to attend one of those would probably cover the trip to Vegas for Worlds next year.
Yeah. I think I'm just I'm gonna save up for Worlds. So the closest for him is in Spain. Brent's finally got Yoda off the board. What is that? Search your feelings? Search through your deck for any card you want. You don't see that being played much.
I wonder if this will be for the bounty hunter crew or for something to, or for another restock to start getting his deck cycling again.
The decks are definitely getting low. When you can start to see the discard getting higher than the main deck.
Yeah, I think with the like I said, with the increased card draw and the increase in discard that we see out of Red Heroism, if they can stick big units, then Blue Villainy really does start to pull away. But if they can't keep their hand size up, then they do start running out of options very quickly for good removal.
Yes. There seems to be lots of card draw options though now. I know that's why a lot of people are playing the Yoda Red kind of combats that hand hate.
So 27 on base, pose presenting lethal.
There we go. There's the handshake. Alex is going to take this one 2-0.